All right, this is the second video for the test recovery. Well, hopefully it won't take too many videos. The next section for the test was evaluate using given values. So apparently it was a substitute and solve part of the test. And again, if you're having problems with integers, this could have been problematic. I'm going to do something that kind of looks like one of the questions. These are actually the variables that were used on the test, but I'm going to change the values that they equal. So let's think m equal to 7 and n equal to 5. So what I have to do now is I have to substitute and solve. So this is m, so that's 7, minus m minus n. Now, something that we've talked about in class, but maybe some people might have forgotten, is that's actually a -1. We don't write that coefficient, it's just understood to be there. So now I don't really have to distribute because this is just 2, right? So let me rewrite it. I'll go over here. 7 minus 5 is 2, so that's a -2. And 7 minus -2 is 5. Now I'm going to use the same problem with a slightly different input here. So let me go back to the beginning because some of you might get caught up on stuff like this. So m minus n, but now I'm going to make m equal to, let's say, 8, and n is going to be -3. So when this happens and I substitute in, I can't forget the fact that this is a -3. So it's 8 minus 8 minus a -3, double parentheses. And we've already talked about this, and hopefully some of you are starting to remember that this is actually a +3. So really what we have is 8 minus 11, 8 minus 11, not same signs add and keep, different signs subtract. Take the sign of the highest number, then you'll be exact. I'm going faster on some of this stuff because we've been doing it for a while and it should start to click. All right, the next section was solve equations. And I know some of you solve these one-step equations without actually doing the algebra. You just guess and check, plug things in, and some of you are still confused on the integer rules in these too. So let me change one up a little bit. So we have 30x equals -90. I'm going to, and most of you probably know it's some kind of 3. It's either a -3, a +3, you might not be sure about that yet. But let's actually do the algebra to figure it out. This is the variable. And I'm going to divide both sides by -30. Because we're going to do opposite operations on both sides, this is times -30, so we have to divide by -30. The math behind how these cancel out is that is a 1. Any number over itself is 1. So I rewrite my mess. X equals whatever this is. A negative divided by a negative is a positive. So the answer is 3. And it's always very helpful to box or circle your answers so they don't get lost in all the work. Let's try something different. There was a question something like this. All right, so the variable is a v. And I need to get that v alone. The thing that's keeping v alone is divided by 6. So I'm going to do the opposite of that. I'm going to do times 6 on both sides. And I highly encourage you to write it just like I wrote it. Because if you write it let's see if I can do it real quick. I see some kids doing this, times 6 times 6. And this would be so easy to write v equals, I don't know, I can't, 36 v equals 24. This is just a really difficult way to see what's going on. Here I can see the math. That's a 1, because any number over itself is 1. So these go away because it's 1, and I rewrite my mess, and I get v equals 24. I don't think people had too many problems with the rest of those. Let's see. We'll do an easy one. So if you have x minus 7 equals 14, you're going to do opposite operations on both sides. And that's what I need to get alone. The -7 is keeping it from being alone, so I'm going to do +7 on both sides. This becomes a 0, so that obviously cancels out, and x is equal to whatever is over here, which is 21. Again, I know most of you could go, well, I know 21 minus 7 is 14, so it must be 21, but we're practicing on simple equations for when they get much harder. I guess we'll do one like this. All right, what about this one? That's a 30. Sorry, let's see if I can fix that. 30. All right, here's my variable, the x. And I need to get that alone. And the thing that's keeping it from being alone is this positive 8. So I'm going to do opposite operations on both sides. So that's negative 8 and negative 8. I think most of you would have been okay up to this point, but then the integer rules get in the way, and you forget that this is same signs, add and keep. So the answer is negative 38. So the big takeaway from this is most of you are doing fine on solving one-step equations with the guessing and the checking, but that's not what we're trying to do. We're trying to teach you how to do it algebraically. And then some of you are still having difficulty with the integer rules. So hopefully these videos will help and you can get your test fixed.